is a big idea, a new world order.
Your world is not what it seems. Alex answering. Outside the Box.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special edition of Outside the Box. It's May 14th, 2010. Tom Horn from the state of Missouri is with me tonight from the website RaidersNewsNetwork.com. Thanks for being here, Tom.
Hey, it's great to be back with you, Alex.
Well, I'm glad that we're going to be focusing on one particular topic tonight, and it is transhumanism. This is something that you feature a lot of stories on your website about, you've written about as well in a number of your books. Where would you like to begin in terms of this particular topic, such as, for those that don't know, what is transhumanism?
Transhumanism, simply a cultural movement, actually started out as, you might even think of it as a subcultural movement. About 20 years ago. It has grown very quickly. It now is made up of everything from young hippies and old hippies to academia. There are probably members within government, there are members within our universities. Some of our leading law schools are advocating now towards the transhumanist philosophy, and the philosophy is really very simple, that we no longer need to wait on the daunting pace of natural evolution, but we have science now at our disposal, that ever since the mapping of the human genome and the genetic sciences came alive, this vision began basically coalescing into a new religion, a new philosophy that says we can take evolution into our own hands now through rewriting our DNA, genetically altering ourselves, other kinds of science, nanotechnology, neuropharmacology, neurosciences, brain-machine interfacing. All of these sciences now can be viewed as the tool that can lead us to the next step in our evolution, humans 2.0, something better, quicker, faster, cognitively superior, physically superior to what humans are today. And essentially that is what transhumanism is. It's a big idea that we can alter ourselves cognitively and in our physiology and create a superior specimen. And actually the term transhuman is kind of telling because it's transitionary. We are walking away from humans as we know them towards post-humanity. Transhumans are somewhere in the middle. Posthumans will eventually become beings of such radically different cognitive abilities, even physical appearance, post-genderism, where we are the merging of both the best of male and female as part of the transhuman vision, that it'll be so radically different than what we understand today as to no longer even be considered to be human.
One thing that I've come across lately is that there's a lot of people that are starting to pick up on the fact that this stuff was in movies a very long time ago, and it's interesting that not only in movies but books. Take a look at the writings of Philip K. Dick and many other authors. So the future appears to be here now. We're talking about humanity changing as we know it.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, we just did a series of shows in which we also interviewed Dr. James Hughes, which is one of the world's leading transhumanists. He was the president of the World Transhumanist Association. He's now the president of the IEET, the Institute for Emerging Technology and Ethics. And we interviewed him and asked him questions about the new movie Avatar. And if you've seen the film, it carries a tremendous amount of transhumanist themes in it. The Na'vi, the blue aliens, they have a ponytail that's almost something like a USB port, and they can plug themselves into all other kinds of life forms as if they're plugging themselves into some matrixial computer system. He believed, we asked him if he thought that future humans, for instance, might be engineered so as to be more readily adaptable to space travel, which was also some of the other themes in that film Avatar, and certainly he would hold that to be true. So, so in a lot of different areas, things that might impact sociological issues, science and technology, all a part of the transhumanist vision for the future. And people might be amazed. I mean, if you recall, and you probably do, and I think it was in 2006, when George W. Bush, in a State of the Union address, called for legislation to be enacted that would prohibit the creation of human-animal chimeras and other patentable forms of human life. And as soon as Obama became president, he used executive power to remove the restrictions that Bush had put in place so that federal dollars, our tax dollars, could actually start flowing into some of the research that's being hosted in some of these laboratories. Much of it, of course, under the pretense of stem cell sciences, but most of the public doesn't realize that that almost always includes, at least at the embryonic level, the creation of human-animal chimeras.
So this isn't just some theory that you've concocted in your mind and in your imagination. This is factually happening. This attempt to modify life, taking stem cell research to however far they can take it, basically. And that's why, like your website, it does tend to document some of these things. But this is something that's not just happening in America, is it? This is something that's fairly global in nature.
It's global in nature, and the amazing parts of it. For instance, there was a press release, a Reuters news story actually, about maybe 5 months ago now, called "Scientists Want Debate on Animals with Human Genes." And if you recall, about 24 months ago, the whole embryology discussions, that were going on in the UK, and these scientists were soliciting the government for public funds to fund their research into human-animal chimeras, and the government of the UK was taking so much pressure from parts of the public over the ethics of it, they opened it to kind of a public forum. So you had everybody, you had people that were for it, against it. The Vatican had 2 bishops that were there, and the 2 bishops said, if a woman participates in these experiments by providing eggs or ovum, and then later has a conflict of conscience and decided that she wanted to raise this half human, half animal as her offspring, she ought to have the right to do so. And what the bishops, I think, were illustrating was the tortured ethics, the questions that could arise in what we are now doing literally in thousands of laboratories around the world. Some of the Jewish Orthodox priests weighed in, and they said, well, if this is a part human, part cow, how much of it would have to be human for it to be protected under our laws? And at what point would the integration with the cow then allow us to burn it as a sacrifice? So there is no way to wrap our mind, especially in a Judeo-Christian type culture that has formed the basis of much of our law here in the United States of America, for us to be able to reconcile some of what we're doing. But Alex, we're doing it anyway. I'll bet the public does not know that in 2006, the U.S. Department of Health gave a grant to Case Law School in Cleveland, Ohio, of $773,000. There was one purpose behind this. You can go and Google the original news stories and read what the purpose behind the grant was. It was to establish the guidelines and government policy that needs to be enacted for human enhancement, and how the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, for instance, might be extended to protect a human non-human. And so Max Melhelm, who was the professor of bioethics and still is, I believe, at Case Law School, was chosen to lead a team of law professors, bioethicists, genetic engineers, molecular biologists, philosophers, over a 24-month period of time. And the other part of their press release that was astonishing was they said they were going to use actual human test subjects for designing the guidelines around human enhancement as the next step in human evolution. This funded by the U.S. Department of Health. Well, the study ended in 2009. And of course, I had been waiting with bated breath for 24 months because I wanted to know in what way did they use human test subjects to try to develop guidelines around human enhancement, re-engineering humans. No report came forward, and still has not come forward. But here is what I found to be interesting, is that Max Melhelm immediately